Welcome back. And since it is Earth Day, you might be wondering how is this a day? Like, how did this all come about? There's actually a little bit more to it than you might think. And Nita Melhoff dug into the KGW Vault.
In 1969, a blowout at a Union Oil platform spilled close to 100,000 barrels of crude oil into the Santa Barbara Channel. The New York Times environmental correspondent Gladwin Hill called it the ecological shot heard round the world. Having traveled to see the devastation firsthand, Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson decided something bigger had to be done. Inspired by the teach-ins against the Vietnam War, Senator Nelson envisioned a day dedicated to environmental awareness, so he teamed up with Congressman Pete McCloskey and student activist Dennis Hayes to push the Earth Day movement forward. The first Earth Day was Wednesday, April 22, 1970, a weekday falling between spring break and final exams. The date was chosen to maximize participation on college campuses. It was a huge success. From New York to San Francisco and all across the United States, an estimated 20 million people came together in support of environmental reform. And the federal government took notice. By December of 1970, Congress authorized the creation of a new federal agency, one designed to tackle environmental issues you might know as the EPA. And other environmental legislation soon followed. What came to be known as the Clean Water Act became law in 1972. The Endangered Species Act soon followed in 73. Today, Earth Day is celebrated around the world as a way to promote environmental awareness and a reminder that all of us can protect the Earth in our everyday lives.